Alright guys, hey, welcome back. We're going to continue with the algebraic expressions with some guided practice. So you need to have the guided practice sheet with you. If you don't have that, make sure you have a piece of paper and a pencil so that you can write down what we're doing. It's also available on my Google site. Thank you. So here we go. On our notes, we are going to take some notes, and we already went over what an algebraic expression is. It's an expression that contains numbers, operations, and one or more symbols, terms, variables, coefficients, and constants. So we're going to start by practicing with those, and we're going to start with A. I'm going to look at this and say, how many terms does it have? And what helps me when I'm learning is to just circle all the pieces that are in between my plus and minus signs. So if I can do that, I can count, I have 3 terms. If that messes you up and you'd rather just underline them or just leave them blank, that's fine. I have 3 terms, and my variables are your letters. So I have 2 different variables here. I have x squareds and I have x cubes. They're different because the exponent is different. The coefficients are just the numbers before the variables. So with my yellow highlighter, I'm going to highlight the coefficients. My coefficients are a positive 2 and a positive 4. The negative 13 is not a coefficient because it's not attached to a variable. The negative 13 is actually called a constant. Okay, so you should have 3 terms, x squared, y to the third of your variables, coefficients of 2 and 4, and your constant of negative 13. The terms that can be combined, I cannot combine any of these. None of them are alike. So to write this in standard form means your exponent that has the highest power comes first. So this exponent of a 3 comes first. So I'm going to write 4x to the third first. And then the second variable comes next in alphabetical order. Since they're both x's, they're both alphabetically the same. And then my constant comes at the end. I am missing right here my plus sign in front of the 2x. So this is written in standard form. Let's do B in a different color. I'm going to do B in purple. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 different terms in this expression. My variables, I have 2 different variables. I have A's and I have B's. So my variables are A and B. My coefficients are the numbers that come before my variables. So my coefficients in this case are 4, 6, and in this one, that's a tricky one, like in the video, that's a 1. So 4, 6, and excuse me, that's a negative 1 because a negative comes in front of it. And the constant is the number that's all by itself. The constant is a negative 7. We're supposed to circle the terms that can be combined and then write it in standard form. So with my pen, I'm going to circle 4a and positive 6a because I can combine those. 6 and 4 give us a total of 10a. Alphabetically, B comes next, so I'm going to do minus B. I'm not going to write that 1 in there because the 1 is understood. And then the last thing is, that was a negative 7, so I want to make sure I have a negative sign before my constant of 7. This is written in standard form, alphabetically by variable. A comes before B, with constants or plain numbers at the end. Pause the video and see if you can do C all by yourself. So when you count the number of terms in this expression, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 terms. The variables are just the c squareds and the c. I have coefficients of negative 10, positive 5, and a negative 1. My constants, I actually have 2 constants in this case. I have a negative 2 and a positive 1. I can combine my c squareds. I have negative 10 plus another negative 1. I get a negative 11c squared. And the reason I'm doing those first is because a c squared have a higher exponent than just plain c, 2 versus 1, so I'm going to put those first. Followed by my 5c. I can't combine the c squared and the c because they don't have the same exponent. And then I go to my constants. I have a 2, a negative 2, excuse me, and a positive 1. When I combine those, I get negative 1. Same signs keep and add, different signs subtract. So this next section, we're going to put a shape around the terms that are alike and combine and write the expression in standard form. So I like using boxes, and then I also like putting ones in front of my plain variables. So when I do this, I have 4x plus 1x, and I'm going to combine those first because in standard form, we always put the variables first, followed by the constants at the end. The constants I'm going to highlight here in just plain old yellow. So I can highlight the boxed numbers. 4 and 1 get me 5x, and then negative 3 plus positive 7. Same signs keep and add, different signs subtract. So I'm going to subtract 7 and 3 to get a positive 4. So that is my final answer written in standard form. Letter E, I'm going to look to see at the variables first. I have a squareds, a squareds. So I can combine the a squareds, or a to the second power. I have 1 here, and I have a negative 3a squared there. Negative 3 plus 1 gets you negative 2a squared. And why did I put those first? I put those first because the 2 has a higher exponent than just the 1a's. 5a plus 2a gets me a positive 7a. And last but not least, I have a negative 5 as my constant. So when you're done, written in standard form, exponents with the highest exponent come first, followed by your letters alphabetically, and your constant at the end. Pause the video and see if you can do the next one by yourself. Be careful because there's more than one letter. Now when you combine these, you get 2c squared minus 1c squared. You get 1c squared. Now this case isn't quite done yet. You want to make sure you simplify that down to just be c squared. The 1 is always assumed. Then 7d. I couldn't combine those d's with anything, so it goes second because c comes before d. And exponentially, c squared is bigger than just 1d. And then my numbers, 15 minus 3, give me an answer of positive 12. So this is my final answer in standard form. For the next question, it says, application. Are the following terms like terms? Explain. And if yes, how can you combine them? If no, why not? So let's look at these two terms. I have a 7x and a negative 5x. Pause the video and decide if it's yes or no and why. So if you said yes, you're exactly right, but can you tell me why? Since the x's have the same exponent, they can be combined. I have 7 and negative 5, and if I take 7 and take 5 from it, I get an answer of 2x. I can combine those terms because they are alike. Now in h, it's a little more tricky. I have 3b squared, 5b, and negative 2b. Are they all alike? No, they're not. But I do have a few that are. So not all can be combined. However, my 5b and my negative 2b are alike because they have the same exponent. So to write this in standard form, it'd be 3b squared because that exponent comes first. And then if I combine 5 minus 2, so I'm just looking at the coefficients to get 3b, I'd add an additional 3b to my answer. In the next section, we're doing error analysis. We're going to explain and correct the error in the questions below. So I'm going to give you a hint. It's all about standard form. Standard form, for example, is written in exponential form. Highest number comes first, followed by letters alphabetically, and then plain numbers at the end. Pause and talk this over with your neighbor. Alright, so standard form, what has to come first? The exponent with the highest value comes first. So this negative 2x to the third has to be first because the exponent is the biggest, followed by the 3x and then the 7. So the error, this one has to be first. In J, this one is a little more difficult, and I wanted to go over this with you because if you have 0 next to a number, what's 0 times anything? Nothing. 0 times any number is going to be nothing. So we need to cross that out because it doesn't exist. Nothing, it's not there. And write it in standard form. It would just be simplified like this. Negative 7k plus 3. And in this one, what is the error? It's not a really big error. It's like they're just learning. It's okay. But we want to get through that 1x is not simplified yet. It's going to be x minus 8 for my final answer. You're going to continue on. The assessment is on the back side, your formative assessment. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And please talk to each other and help each other out, making sure we understand the content. Thank you very much again for being here. Enjoy, and I appreciate your time.